Hello everyone, I'm Shay, Greene, Director of Pastoral Care at UNC Hospitals. Today I want us to talk about mindfulness and caregiving in the midst of COVID-19. We've been hearing a lot about self-monitoring, and self-monitoring is going to keep us safe, but I also want to extend it not just to our temperature checks, our aches, our coughs, but really looking at care and resiliency in our body, mind, and spirit. It's important that we both self-monitor those things within each one of us. This past week, I've had a quote come across my desk multiple times, which is always a sign for me, pay attention. And the quote came from Rabbi Hillel the Elder. He said, "If I am not for myself, who will be for me? And if I'm only for myself, who am I?" That tells me that we have to be careful and monitor ourselves and care for others. We have two charges during this time. Given that, many of us have had a lot of feelings that we don't normally have on a regular basis. They're intense. We've been filled with worry, with fear, exhaustion, anger, frustration, a sense of helplessness and hopelessness, and we're grieving. These are just a few responses that affect our body, mind, and spirit. And so how do we provide self-care and live into resiliency? I imagine if I polled each caregiver at UNC Hospitals, many of you could identify with at least one or multiple ones of these feelings that are often a sign of stress. So what do we do when we need to remain resilient and encourage resiliency within the people that we work with? Well, there's something we can do. We can take our resiliency temperature at least 3 times a day, and I strongly recommend that. So what does that resiliency temperature look like? It means checking on your body, mind, and your spirit. Given that, we're called to take action. And what does that look like to check on your body, mind, and spirit? Our bodies are amazing things. We see that, how amazing they are in medicine every single day. When you're checking on your body, check and see if your body is calm, rested. You have regular sleep patterns. You're eating a normal day just like you would when things are not as stressed. You have normal eating patterns. You partake with alcohol in moderation. You're able to exercise. Stop for a minute and just imagine how your body has felt in the past when you're in the midst of a most serene time. Now, let's think about how our body reacts in stress. Sometimes we have headaches, we're dizzy, we're fatigued. We experience grinding of teeth, thirst, weakness, difficult breathing, rapid heart rates. We have excessive consumption of food or alcohol, and we resort back to the unhealthy habits to just satisfy our cravings. That's a stress reaction within our body. Do that daily, 3 times a day check. How is my body feeling? Is it a de-stressed body, or am I full of stress reactions? Then check the mind. A de-stressed mind thinks clearly, has attention to detail, engages in appreciative inquiry, has the capacity to take in more information through pleasure reading, pleasure learning. You're aware of the people and places that are around you and the things that bring you pleasure. You're alert. But in the midst of stress, we know that our minds can do something very different. We can become confused, we can have nightmares, we can resort to blaming each other, we have poor attention, poor concentration and memory, we may have heightened or lowered alertness, and we have poor ability to problem solve. Sometimes we engage in hypervigilance and even disorientation of time, people, and places. I wonder how many of you have driven home from a shift and you don't really remember the drive. You don't remember what was in front of you or behind you or beside you on the road. That's a sign of a stressed mind. And what about your spirit? Spiritual healthiness, we have a sense of awe and wonder of that is around us. We have a sense of community, a sense of personal mission, enthusiasm for discovery and creativity, and a sense of well-being and joy. But when our spirit has dis-ease, other things happen. We close ourselves off to other individuals. We have feelings of fear and helplessness. We feel shame or guilt. We start questioning justice and meaning. We reconsider the core tenets of our religious beliefs. We feel far from previously held beliefs. And we may even begin to wonder or ruminate on life and death. As you think about the body, mind, and spirit, and we do our wellness checks on all three of the components of a whole person, it's important to act if we notice that one of the three components of the whole person is stressed. We are called to action to help ourselves and help those who we are working with. So what are some things we can do to be mindful and to bring resiliency to our body, mind, and spirit? We can incorporate ritual into our daily activities. This does not have to be a religious ritual. It can simply be every day at this time, I am going to do something that is meaningful to me and is life-giving. For me, an example of that is every evening I play board games with my children. I have to do that. It's not a spiritual ritual, but it's a physical ritual of my mind and body, and the laughter feeds my spirit. Think about a mindful exercise you can do. I imagine that you've seen quite a few coming through emails. Pastoral Care has put those out at the hand sanitizer station and on the mirrors. Follow the mindful exercises that speak to you. Practice controlled breathing. Breathe in peace, serenity. Exhale anxiety and fear. Another thing that we can do is we can think, name, write down, call out 3 things that we are grateful for in each day. Maybe that's 3 things you're grateful for in your shift at work. Another thing that's very important is to engage in that physical exercise. I know that many people are leaving your shifts and your work time and you're emotionally exhausted and you just don't feel like engaging in that exercise. But engagement in physical activity will help cleanse the mind and the spirit as well as energize the body. Allow yourself to unplug. That's very hard in this age of technology, especially hard if your favorite handheld device is connected to the hospital. Try to find some time when you are totally unplugged from the screen, at least unplugged from the institution for a while. Eat and sleep well. Connect with spirituality, your own spirituality, your faith group, and your community at large. I know we're practicing social distancing, but we can connect with those groups. Don't forget that it is important and okay to laugh. A belly-aching laugh goes a long ways these days. Another action that we can do is to offer grace to self and others. Connect with your family and your personal community, those core people that are vital in your life, that bring joy and are life-giving. I know we're busy, but make that moment and that time to connect. It will be life-giving. As we think about the quote from the rabbi, "Who am I if I only care for myself?" Well, we are to care for others. And how do we do that? We can validate each other's feelings. We don't have to judge feelings because they're neither right or wrong. They just are. Validate what you're hearing from the person that you're engaging with. Validate those feelings. Implement rituals as a work group, not only in your personal life, but together as a community here at UNC. Set boundaries, live into the boundaries, but practice flexibility. We all need to be masters at flexibility right now. And for some people, that's really difficult. Invite the team that you work with to practice creativity and problem solving. This COVID-19 pandemic, we have never experienced anything like that. We're trying to problem solve many things in a very short amount of time. Empower others to utilize their creativity to help problem solve. Practice mindfulness exercises together as a work group. And self-monitor each other for resiliency. Be honest. Let the person know that you're noticing that they're struggling today. It's okay for us to struggle. Create ways to stay personally connected with the people you work with. We're doing so much by WebEx, and I wish I could be in person talking to you today, but the social distancing has limited our connections. Stay connected some way with those people you work with. Acknowledge that this is a new normal for all of us, and that some of the things that we are experiencing are associated with grief. And that may be new for us as we experience this pandemic. So today, I ask that you do the 3 times a day resiliency check on your body, mind, and spirit. Be well, and may we utilize these tools to stay well. Thank you.